Hello and welcome to the 15-minute show, part of the Arsenal Therapy podcast. I'm Adam Keys and I'm your host as always. And joining me today is Monty. How are we doing, Monty?
I'm not too bad, thank you, Adam. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not so bad. So we're going to keep this one short and sweet.
hmm
Not too much to go over today. So obviously the big one is Sevilla tonight. So how are you feeling for the game?
Um, I'm pretty confident for the game. I just want to see a good rotation. I think there's some players who deserve a start or at least an opportunity. As long as we don't see Jorginho starting today, I'm all right. No, I'm pretty confident. To be fair, I want to hopefully see Ramsdale in goal. Definitely think he deserves maybe Emil Smith-Rowe or Kai Havertz back in the team. In the midfield as well or up front. But we'll see. No, I'm pretty confident for it. But what about you, Adam?
Yeah, I guess mixed feelings. Sevilla have just had a manager change. They drew with Madrid at the weekend. They're a funny team because the results haven't actually been that bad this season. They've had a lot of draws more than a lot of defeats. So they have they've just changed manager again after 6 months. So Diego Alonso has come in for Jose Luis Mendilibar, and that's come at probably the worst time for us because the sacking came just before the international break, and then they've drawn
hmm
with Madrid at the weekend. But yeah, so that's something that we're going to have to contend with. But look, we've been here before. A new manager bounce does deliver something, but when you change every 6 months, it's hard to know the true effect of
hmm
a new manager bounce. Um, I do agree with you on changes. I think I would maybe change two or three max, but I think it's one of those you go out with your strongest team, and I think two or three does that for us.
hmm
The one I would be bringing in is Tomiyasu at left back. I think
Yeah.
Zinchenko was poor against Chelsea at the weekend. His passing was all right at times, but defensively, he just switched off a bit too much. And I think that's something we can't afford to do tonight. So we need those dual winners on the pitch. And I also agree about Havertz, although I'd probably bring him in up front. Just give us that bit of aerial presence and probably take Jesus out of the team. He took a bad challenge. He had the international break where he was away for 2 weeks. He's a player that I'm not sure about with full fitness. Although he says he's back. Do you
hmm
think he's capable of playing, having been away with Brazil, travelled so far, then taking that heavy challenge at the weekend? Is it a risk to throw him in again today and then have him in the team again at the weekend?
I mean, it's always a risk, isn't it? Every
Yeah.
game, every few minutes is a risk. I think it just sort of depends how he feels on the day. It really is sort of one you just have to take there. I mean, if he's not feeling 100%, don't play him. If you ask him and if he's up for it, play him. Do you know what I mean? You have to sort of see how it goes. I mean, if we can rotate, I'd always like to see rotation anyway. Especially with the games coming up on the weekend as well. So because we've got a game like every 4 days now, every 3 games, 3 days. So yeah, there's going to be heavy rotation on it. So I'm not too fast. I think he could probably do it, but again, it all depends on the player, really.
Yeah, the big one I would like to see is Thomas Partey coming back in. I
hmm
think this is a game where he's obviously played in Spain, that kind of calmness, composure on the ball, those passes he can play through the middle. Having him beside Rice, I think, improves the side. So it's funny when we talk about rotation, and I think this is something Arsenal fans need to get into their heads. We're not talking
hmm
about weakening the team. We're talking about, in this case,
Freshen.
arguably our best midfielder coming back into the
hmm
team, and then Tomiyasu for Zinchenko. They're two different players as opposed to one being a better player than the other. And again, with Havertz up front, I think he's someone that can really give us a different option. And in the last two games, he's shown what he can do as a striker because
hmm
I still don't see him as a midfielder. No matter how much I try to fit him in that box, I
hmm
really struggle with it. But what? How do you see the game going tonight?
It could be like you said, because with the new manager, you never really know. I mean, with Sevilla in Europe, they always can surprise you. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think we walk it. I can see it being low scoring. Sevilla very solid defensively. They don't really concede many goals. and they can counter quick as well. They've got good players going forward. I'm gonna go prediction wise. I'm gonna 2-1 Arsenal.
I mean, any result, any win, I'm happy with tonight. And looking at Sevilla's record this season, they've conceded 2 on a couple of occasions. They got battered, 2 on a couple of occasions against PSV and Rayo Vallecano. Aside from that, it's generally been 1 goal. You're right, they don't concede many. The last time they conceded heavily was at the end of August against Alaves. So they're not a side that are going to be easily broken down, and we know what their pedigree is like in Europe. So I think it's one of those, it's go out, do the job, don't take them lightly, and just be fully committed. And also, I want to see a bit of a reaction from Chelsea at the weekend. So obviously, Declan Rice give all those interviews. It's now a case of for all his teammates to stand up and go out and show what they're made of today. But the other story of the day, so aside from that, Ramsdale is back in training. So he had his kid at the weekend. He's back. I agree with you. I would like to see him come in. However, I think Arteta's made a rod for his own back with this. And dropping Raya for tonight, it could give a huge dent to his confidence. And you just end up with 2 keepers that aren't fully confident. But let's see what he does. Finally, just to wrap up, because we're going to keep this one short, the PGMOL. So it looks like we're going to be getting another apology. Give me your thoughts on that. And I also think that it's important to address that this isn't an Arsenal agenda. This isn't an Arsenal problem. This is a Premier League problem that we're seeing these issues every week. And
I'm seeing lots of apologies, but no points. These are decisions that have changing games completely. I mean, look at like the Liverpool Spurs game, probably one of the worst ones as well. We've had it. Oh, bless me. We've had it twice. When it could have completely changed where we'd be standing right now. So it's annoying. It's just frustrating. There's no consistency. And considering it's the most watched league in the world, you'd expect it to have the best refs in the world, and it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And it's just it seems every week now there's something to be sorry for. Just be better. Do you know what I mean? Just be better. You literally have like another person in the room going over stuff. You should be able to make the right decision.
Yeah. There's also some rumours that the Chelsea penalty, that VAR got overly involved in it, and the on-field decision was that it was no penalty. And it was VAR that kept urging him to go for an on-field review. And even during the on-field review, apparently it was VAR pushing it. So it'd be interesting to hear the audio of that when it actually comes out. But if that's the case, what does that say about refereeing in this country?
I was saying they're just not really don't really have much say anymore, do they? If they're being swayed, and the point of the ref is the VAR is supposed to support and get the decision right. But if the ref's gone and confidently called it, and you're pushing them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you're meant to assist. You're meant to assist it. It's video video assistant referee. It's not not the ref. So yeah, I'm as long as there's consistency, I'm happy. It's like, for instance, I know last week when the reason I think that handball went is because obviously in the Merseyside derby there was a very similar case, and they gave it off and they gave the penalty for them. So they probably had to stick with the consistency. I mean, at the end of the game, to be fair, after the result, I wasn't too annoyed about it. I wasn't too annoyed. I was more annoyed that the cross even got put in with uncontested, to be honest. Than the actual penalty itself. We just played shocking, so I wasn't trying to find like excuses. But if we had to like nitpick it, the ref could have done that. There were just some tackles he just didn't give a foul for at all. But nah, that happens. We move on to the next week, and I'm just getting fed up with the apologies now.
I'm the same. To be honest, I've got no problem with the penalty itself. It was one of those. if it was the other way around, I would want it. I think by the letter of the law, it was a penalty. Even if the rule's ridiculous, it's still the laws of the game. And I think that's something that we just have to accept. And I haven't really seen I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans say, like, where can he move his arm? But at the same time, being accepting of the rule. So it's the rules there. We have to move on. But it's with the Chelsea one, it was the Sanchez on Gabriel Jesus. There was very little review of that. It was kind of moved on very quickly.
That was a pen.
But yeah, so but let's see what happens with this. And it's another apology, another laughing moment for the Premier League, and nothing will happen. As you say, we will be having the same conversation on Ref Watch next week when we go through all the decisions of the week. But it is funny, I was thinking about this yesterday. Ref Watch has become one of the most watched shows of the week. It actually keeps Sky Sports News relevant. So, which shows how bad refereeing is in this country. Sky Sports must actually like dream of a bad weekend for refs, because the viewing figures go like through the roof. The social stuff gets shared all over. But let's wrap this up here, because I know you have to go. So thank you to everyone that has joined us for the show. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and please help support Arsenal tonight for a 3-0 win at Sevilla.
3-0.
3-0. I'm being overly confident. I don't fully believe it myself. That's what we want to say. Kai Havertz hat-trick. I've said it now. Thanks for joining. Cheers, guys.